very explosive fight. One day we definitely don't want to miss out on.
So what would the result be?
The prediction is will not last 12 rounds, I think.
That's a nice one, thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely.
At a fiery first press conference ahead of his upcoming bout, boxing legend Manny Pacquiao electrified the room with a chilling statement aimed directly at his opponent, Mario Barrios. The 8-division world champion, celebrated for his lightning-fast hands and trademark humility, cast aside his usual calm and stepped into the spotlight with an uncharacteristically fierce warning. As cameras flashed and tension surged, Pacquiao delivered a message loud and clear: this fight isn't just business, it's personal. And if Barrios believed he was stepping into the ring with a faded icon, Pacquiao's burning intensity left no doubt he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, how's it going? Alright, so for a long time we're talking about Manny Pacquiao coming back to us, and for a long time we're talking about him fighting. Now it's real, it's happening. Him and Mario Barrios break down.
Yeah, Barrios is champion, so it's a good fight.
WBC champion.
Don't count Pacquiao. Everyone's counting Pacquiao out because of his age. So you're a bunch of haters, man. He still has tons of power, tons of speed, and a shitload of experience.
If Manny wins, would it shock you or no?
No.
But it would shock the whole world.
It would shock the world, but he wins at his age. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Listen, he's 45, 46. 45, 46, but he's not. He's always active. He's always staying active. He's always doing something. Mostly playing basketball, some sort of sport.
When Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, he said, "I'm not surprised." So Manny could say that after he beat Barrios, that he wasn't surprised that he just supposed to win.
Well, what Diaz beat? I mean, different Diaz. I like Diaz.
Manny Pacquiao's return to the boxing ring after a 4-year hiatus has ignited major excitement, especially after his fiery press conference where he delivered a sharp warning to WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. The 46-year-old boxing icon, renowned for his explosive speed and punching power, is set to take on the 29-year-old Barrios on July 19, 2025, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
It's a very contentious subject, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like we were talking about fighting him with Conor Ben maybe 6 months ago, yeah. And every month, or 3 months, or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, I guess there's 2 questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside into the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the rating world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit different to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, Barrios is not Crawford, and that's why we pushed the Conor Ben fight. Conor Ben, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up. People are still complaining at me for mentioning that fight, like Conor Ben is Boots, but he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Pacquiao has returned to training under the watchful eye of his longtime coach, Freddie Roach. Despite concerns surrounding his age and extended absence from the ring, the boxing legend has displayed flashes of his former brilliance during training sessions. Still, some fans and analysts remain doubtful about whether he can truly perform at the elite level after such a long layoff. New footage out of Los Angeles captures Manny Pacquiao speaking with calm resolve, exuding the confidence of a veteran ready for any test. He touched on the responsibility of being a role model and the value of learning from past setbacks, his tone steady and reflective. In the gym, Pacquiao appeared sharp and focused, moving with fluid precision, landing rapid-fire punches, and training with the energy of a much younger fighter, clearly motivated by a desire to prove he still belongs. Still, the decision to greenlight the bout has sparked debate. Detractors argue that Pacquiao's age and lengthy absence from the sport should have ruled out a title opportunity. The WBC's move to place him at number 5 in the welterweight rankings has drawn scrutiny, with some questioning the fairness of the ranking and voicing concerns about the safety and legitimacy of the matchup.
I'm hearing things here. Manny Pacquiao aiming for a short return to the ring, age 46, Josh.
Yeah, I read something about that, man. It's, that guy's my hero, you know, I named my dog after him and stuff like that, you know, stuff, but he's touching 50 years old. I think, you know, he should leave it where it is, you know, but, you know, obviously, if you get a chance to share a ring with Manny Pacquiao, nobody's going to say no, you know.
Trainer Greg Hackett didn't hold back when voicing his opinion on Manny Pacquiao's surprising comeback fight against Mario Barrios. Speaking candidly, Hackett acknowledged that if this matchup had happened years ago, Pacquiao would have easily dismantled Barrios. But times have changed. In Hackett's view, the current Pacquiao, now 45, is a shadow of the explosive, dynamic force who once ruled the ring. He questioned whether the aging legend could still deliver the speed, stamina, and ferocity that defined his prime. Hackett went so far as to label the bout a money grab rather than a true battle between elite fighters at their peak, calling it more of a spectacle than a competitive showdown.
But Pacquiao not Pacquiao. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might only beat Pacquiao. I mean, not knock him out, but I mean, beating on the card, beating behind the jab.
Similar to like Ugas fight?
Yeah. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back and he want to come back with a bang, so why not? If he can make it happen, he can. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fight, I would love to have a Pacquiao. And that's the fight you really love.
It's a fight that boxing fans will criticize you for. But the reality is, Manny Pacquiao has a die-hard fan base that you're going to make money with. But everybody wants to see other fights at 47. You Stanley Owners, you Boobs, you Brian Norman.
Yeah, but you want to steal as much as you can steal. Because again, this shit is not forever. It's like anything else. It's going to end. So you want to make some money and you want to do great things.
Former champion Tim Bradley voiced similar concerns, suggesting that Pacquiao's return is driven more by financial incentives than a pursuit of boxing glory. In Bradley's opinion, when a fighter comes out of retirement, it often points to a need for a payday rather than a competitive ambition. While the WBC title is technically at stake, he believes the real motivation lies in the money. Barrios, the younger and more active fighter, is being positioned as the rising star tasked with pushing Pacquiao to his limits. Bradley even suggested that Barrios has the youth, momentum, and skill to potentially finish Pacquiao, raising serious questions about whether the boxing legend should be stepping back into the ring at all.
Pacquiao, getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, you know, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. 1, 2. I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the A. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, you know, bigger fighter, knows how to, you know, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, you know, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. You know, that Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into retirement once again. But again, what they say, the last thing that leaves is the power. If Manny got any of that power still left in him, if he lands that left hand, he can hurt the young gun. So, but that's easier said than done.
On the other hand, Oscar de la Hoya has voiced strong support for Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring, expressing confidence in the legendary fighter despite his age. While acknowledging that Pacquiao is now in his mid-40s, de la Hoya believes the Filipino icon still possesses the heart, determination, and skill to go toe-to-toe with younger contenders like Mario Barrios. He praised Pacquiao's illustrious career and emphasized that a fighter with such experience should never be counted out. For de la Hoya, the conversation isn't about age, it's about what Pacquiao still brings to the table.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs.
He's a legend, you know.
Some nice ones, thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
Despite the skepticism surrounding the matchup, Mario Barrios remains composed and confident. Speaking ahead of the fight, Barrios expressed respect for Pacquiao but made it clear he's not intimidated. He intends to stay focused on his strategy, leveraging his youth, reach, and endurance to apply constant pressure. For Barrios, this isn't just a paycheck, it's the biggest opportunity of his career and a chance to add a legendary name to his resume.
When you see the Manny Pacquiao fight, what can you learn from that fight?
It showed that, combination punchers, that's how Pacquiao, was landing, his punches, combinations. And, it just showed that, he is a great fighter, but I'm going into this camp, coming into this fight confident, everything right with our game plan, and I'm going to try to execute it as best as I can.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has voiced doubts about Mario Barrios' supposed size advantage in his upcoming fight against Manny Pacquiao. While Barrios is taller and has a longer reach, Atlas questions whether this truly gives him an edge, pointing out that Barrios only recently moved up to the welterweight division after struggling to make the 140-pound limit in lower weight classes. Despite his physical attributes, Atlas argues that Barrios' size might not translate into a meaningful advantage once the bell rings. This perspective suggests the matchup could be more evenly matched than many expect, setting the stage for a potentially competitive clash between the seasoned Pacquiao and the younger Barrios. The announcement of Pacquiao's return has already sent shockwaves through the boxing world, with many fans still reeling from the news after his retirement in 2021 and years of inactivity.
Not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, naturally welterweight. And of course we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean, he was that.
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. You would have had Peter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. Look what he did to this horse. But look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger. He's active. I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than
when he fought him a little bit. Then when Pacquiao fought him, maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
Mauricio Suleiman, president of the WBC, confirmed that all necessary approvals have been secured for Pacquiao to compete for the welterweight title. Speculation is swirling that the fight against Barrios is merely a stepping stone for Pacquiao. Rumors suggest that if Pacquiao defeats Barrios, it could set the stage for a blockbuster showdown with Gervonta Tank Davis. Fans and analysts are questioning whether Barrios was chosen because he's a more manageable opponent, giving Pacquiao the opportunity to build momentum and generate buzz for what could be his final major fight. The prevailing thought is that this bout may not represent the ultimate challenge but rather a strategic move to pave the way for a high-profile, career-defining clash with Davis.
The WBC president Mauricio Suleiman has said Mario Barrios will face Manny Pacquiao this July. That's some crazy shit, bro. That's some crazy news. Manny Pacquiao is 46 years of age. He's making his return to the ring. And he said he wants to go out with a bang. He wants to finish his career as a champion. That's some crazy shit. Manny Pacquiao's professional record currently stands at 62 wins, 39 of those coming via knockout, 8 losses and 2 draws. Manny Pacquiao has one of the most impressive CVs in the sport of boxing. Just take a look at from 09, Ricky Hatton, all the way up until here. There's so many names: Timothy Bradley, Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Joshua Clotley, Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Jesse Vargas. Like, there's so many names on this list. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at Mario Barrios' record: 29 wins, 18 of those coming via knockout, 2 losses and 1 draw on his resume. What do I make of this fight? I don't know, you know. I mean, this is a young man's sport. I asked myself, Manny Pacquiao, why do you want to come back and fight a younger fighter? You know what I mean? Mario Barrios, who is the current champion, the WBC champion. Why? What have you got to prove? You've proven everything throughout your career. So I don't know what to say, but anyways, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and watch a clip of the president of WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, talk about this.
As of now, Mario Barrios is the WBC champion, so who is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. He wants to retire as WBC champion, so he's fighting in the welterweight division.
Why does he come out of retirement and get a WBC title shot in his first fight?
Because it's something that WBC has respected. Sugar Ray Leonard was retired 4 years when he requested to fight Marvin Hagler and defeated Hagler. So we do have that provision in the rules. A legendary champion with the credentials such as Manny Pacquiao. He has been medically cleared, licensed by Nevada, so we have voted in favor to allow that fight to happen.
If Pacquiao defeats Barrios, a showdown with Gervonta Davis could become one of the most eagerly anticipated fights in recent memory. 2 explosive southpaws, each with massive fan bases, going head-to-head would capture global attention like never before. Pacquiao's return carries a strong sense of nostalgia. He's chasing the same WBC title that launched his rise to international stardom years ago. Back then, he won his first world championship at flyweight. Now, he aims to close out his career as the WBC welterweight champion. It's a full-circle moment that goes far beyond simply adding another belt. For Pacquiao, this fight is deeply personal. It's not just about legacy, but about reconnecting with the very beginning of his journey. His motivation for this comeback seems driven as much by emotion and reflection as it is by competition.
Boxing Dr. News told Under Your Gloves boxing fans, the rumors are true. Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring. At 46 years old, the Filipino legend is taking on WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios this July. But here's the kicker. Pacquiao's first world title was as a flyweight, and now he wants to retire as the WBC welterweight champ. Talk about a career comeback, but can the Pac-Man turn back time? He hasn't been in top form lately, while Barrios is coming off a tough draw. Will Pacquiao's experience triumph over youth, or is this one fight too far? Either way, July is shaping up to be an explosive month for boxing. Pacquiao's rolling the dice one last time. Will he make history as the oldest welterweight champ ever? Get ready for a showdown that'll have you on the edge of your seat.
Fans and commentators are drawing comparisons between Pacquiao and George Foreman, who famously reclaimed a world title at the age of 46. While such a feat is rare in boxing history, it's not impossible. Many believe that if Foreman could achieve it, Pacquiao, known for his relentless energy and legendary status, might be able to do the same. The fight has evolved into a powerful narrative about defying age and surpassing expectations.
So Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now I have every issue in the world with this. Manny Pacquiao is my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Jordanis Ugas. And in that fight, he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against the kickboxer Rukia Anpo first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old. And not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. If there's one champion at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. Pacquiao's accomplished everything in this sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 46.
Manny Pacquiao's comeback has reignited both excitement and debate within the boxing world. At 46, he's returning to the ring after a 4-year hiatus, with his sights set on reclaiming the title that first catapulted him to legendary status. This matchup not only contrasts Pacquiao's vast experience with Barrios' youth but also sparks deeper questions about legacy, motivation, and the ever-changing landscape of the sport.
You mentioned that a lot of people are asking what's going on. Are the rumors true? Is it possibly Spence? Is it Pacquiao? Who is Mario Barrios sharing the ring with next?
You know what? He's put himself in a great position through hard work. He's a tremendous story. When he turned pro and what he's been able to accomplish being a 2-time world champion. And I always told everybody, he fights all comers. When we fought Gervonta Davis, all my hats off to Gervonta Davis. But it was very difficult for us to make the weight. We were going to move up in weight. They presented us, with this opportunity, and he said, I'll bite down for it one more time. And then from there, obviously we had a tough loss, but it was a competitive fight. And his first fight at 147 pounds, he goes on and takes on Keith Thurman. No tune-ups, no getting used to the thing. At that point, is about as good as you can get in the division, and took on that. So he takes on all comers, all challenges. His first world title against Petirov, the Russian, is about as tough as you could have done at the time. And so I think he's earned the right now to be in the biggest, best possible fights. And now it's going to be up to Al Heyman and Louis DeCubas Jr. on what they see is best and fit for his career, whether that's Pacquiao, Spence, if that's a unification with Boots Ennis.
Do you think Pacquiao's confidence will lead him to victory, or will Barrios successfully defend his title? Share your opinion and join the discussion below.